Hello everyone. Meghan's heavily veiled threat, planting new fear. Have you noticed that the more afraid people are, the more they want to cover up? Of course, no one wants to show their weaknesses. But Meghan's fear is not simply the fear of not achieving something, but rather, Meghan wants to hide her dark side. She is truly dangerous. I believe that one of the reasons why Meghan and Harry are so problematic is that if they were to do something that was genuine, and it was made clear on television that they were not doing it solely for their own personal gain, you might feel a little bit more compassion for them. However, as I mentioned to you the other day, there is always that little kick in the boot, isn't there, from both of them? Whether it be Harry complaining about the fact that he feels slighted and the media are against him, and all that kind of thing, there is almost always that little kick in the boot. In spite of this, the media criticizes every major name. That is the simplest explanation. No matter where you go, it will occur. It is noteworthy to note that during their most recent interview with CBS, you were able to observe that they were working on all of the things that they desired to have put forth for themselves. And it should have been about the horrific situation that a lot of people have experienced with internet bullying, as that is exactly what it should have been about. However, they are unable to let go of the thread anymore. And of course, Meghan revealed this most recent danger in a very short amount of time. The fact that that woman from CBS had to proclaim him as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex is something that I just adore. By the way, they are just Harry and Meghan. That's all there is to them. I mean, come on, really. No longer are they as prolific as they once were. However, what is intriguing about this situation is that I told you about it, unable to recall the event. Her time spent in the royal family, on the other hand, would undoubtedly be fascinating to a great number of people. Her narrative, when contrasted with the truth, is going to be quite judgmental at all times. And I believe, when you look at it, of course, it is disappointing to see that a great number of individuals are no longer with us. In other words, she had the ability to express anything that had occurred before in the room. You are aware of how things work. Therefore, she utilized the CBS interview to bring to your attention, if you recall, that while she was discussing her personal trauma, a significant number of individuals do not believe that personal trauma really occurred. On the internet, she has been called out by a significant number of people. This is something that has been stated by a number of distinguished broadcasters on television. In essence, it is her version of events, her story, that is being described, and it is very evident that she has reiterated it once more. The fact that she was able to access the British monarchy when she was there makes it difficult for many people to accept the possibility that she did not receive any support throughout her time living there. There you have it. Nevertheless, the line, of course, was that she had not even touched the surface, and she was there for only one reason alone. To what publishers were there to take note, to say, look, this is a good story, but you need to cough up the handbag, come up with the money, and to what publishers were there to help. I have already mentioned to you that she is not being offered megabucks, like Prince Harry is for his book Spare. This is something that you should know. And the reason for this is that they do not consider her to be a selling factor. To tell you the truth, they are aware that people will not be as enamored of them because there are so many paradoxes around false weddings and other similar things. It is necessary for her to think of extravagant tales. Nevertheless, that was the very essence of the question that was being asked. There was a plan in place to transition into, I have a good story. The surface has not even been scraped by me. In addition, it is rather similar to the diary that she unexpectedly discovered while she was moving out of Frogmore Cottage all of a sudden. When it comes to the world of celebrities, everything is done with a great deal of calculation in order to guarantee that the people out there are prepared to open their finances. However, will it be successful this time? I don't know what Meghan's IQ is, but she should know that adults don't believe anything she says. Maybe kids just listen to it for fun. Is she suicidal? I never believe that she is suicidal. She just had to pound the royal family during the Oprah interview and used it for the pity party she needed. But honestly, if she wants to commit suicide, then just do it and don't talk and gossip anymore. I find it disgusting. Perhaps no one can stop her, but we can all despise her for the dreadful compulsive liar she is. Meghan continues to make covert threats to keep her face in the media. I am sick of them both. After all that weeping at the Cirque, her makeup was perfect and her eyes were not red nor puffy. Cheers. Certainly. I think she made it all up because Diana was really in distress at that time in her pregnancy. And Meg's is Diana too. 0. It seems we are now in reruns with her stories as they've used up all the tales she's been recording in that journal she left lying around in Frogmore Cottage. That personal trouble just never added up back then and is still not believable now. And do you think Meghan will be telling that story from her schoolgirl days about the dishwashing soap commercial again? Every time Meghan and Harry open their mouths, they just prove how deluded and ignorant they are. The royal family can sit back and do nothing while the Harkles continue to create a dumpster fire in a leaking boat. In my opinion, Harry was 35 years old at the time. Exactly what could his family have done to stop the marriage? Imagine the criticism any other family would get if they forbade a 35-year-old to marry. I think the punishment for Harry will come in far more subtle ways than laying him over the king's knee and whipping him. His inheritances will be reduced. Invitations to join the family will dry up, and the British public will boo him more often. Who in their right mind believes a word out of her mouth? She lies as often as she breathes. I wish she would write the book and be done. Then she has nothing left to whine about. Harry, wear it. If she doesn't get what she wants this time, well, she can always write another. She has plenty of material left over. Harry said it, and now she is saying it. They are just reminding the family that they aren't done with them yet. Of course, I don't think the royal family cares one whit. Rachel can threaten all she wants, but she is far too lazy to actually write an entire book. And if she employs a ghostwriter, they won't last long because they will have to fact-check everything she spews out. And honestly, would anyone buy the book? Maybe those nasty Meghan from Compton that she pays to threaten people. Harry just spewed out a bunch of whining nonsense about not getting a third sausage, blah, blah, blah. He was so desperate to make it appear as if his book was a bestseller, but when it gets to the point of leaving 7 copies in a hotel room instead of a tip, well, I think the book is a bust, a shiny new project for old 43% to hint, leak, and promise only to end up like Lemonade, Jam, Arrow, and a cooking show on the shelf, waiting for someone to take it over so she can make money with the least amount of work involved. Correct? Her husband doesn't stand much chance of getting close to his family again, so she certainly doesn't stand a cat in hell's chance of getting anywhere near the royal family again. She might be crazy with resentment because she's never going to be queen, but if you think either of those two idiots can personally harm anyone in the royal family, then you are crazy too. I don't think she was in the inner circle as much as she would like us to think. Her veiled threat to the royal family should be ignored. A total has been. If she continues down this path, it won't be pretty. People know her for what she is. High possibility. She's been planning that for a while. Then she can accuse him of all sorts of things to fuel her pity plays. We'll use it as an excuse for her cutting him off and keeping him away from the kids, even though her own words state otherwise. Horrid creature. The problem is a German documentary about her background in the wings. She will release a book about further charges against the royal family to counter the documentary because she knows she will say she was a victim of racism and play the sympathy card. She should be scared, since it will reveal many of her secrets and lies. She never thinks about her past, especially what she doesn't want people to see. Sit and be silent. She should. The Duchess of Scatterbrains whinged on Oprah in her few podcasts, and now about the royal family in this newest interview. She moans every time she's on media, as if that's the only thing that's ever happened to her. She can't get over someone finally saying no to her. A publisher would expect solid information from the Duchess of Scatterbrains. Others' confirmation, letters, emails, and texts are needed. She only talks about lies and opinions. Any new royal family claims would require proof. This may cause her to cry. Another pity play, victimization, and control threat would result from her publishing additional lies about bullying the royal family. She might be sued by the royal family and presented with all the proof of her intimidating royal personnel. She jokes that the royal family won't take her on. If she publishes an accusatory book, the publisher won't like a lawsuit. She fled after being called as a witness to defend what was stated. Discovery is key to supporting her claims in court. You must prove your claim is true. Her royal family relationships are restricted because she was not a member for long in the UK. She overestimates her chances of winning this argument because the royal family has not answered. Thus, she thinks she is correct. To prove her claims, she needed physicians' papers, medication, and witnesses. Since she smiled in the CBS interview, this story is a fabrication, and she hijacked someone else's life story. Thank you so much for viewing my video. I hope you find this video informative, emotive, or entertaining. If you sympathize with me, share my opinion, or have anything else to say, please leave a comment below. Also, remember to support my channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing to it. Now goodbye, and we'll see you again.